Hello and welcome to SCAN's Community Connections. I'm your host, Tom Hayes. I'm Director of Customer and Community Relations at New Jersey Natural Gas and happy to be your host here today. And we have a wonderful program. Our first guest for today's show is the Reverend Ronald L. Sparks, who's the pastor of the Bethel AME Church in Freehold, New Jersey. So, Reverend, it's great to have you with us today.
Good to be here with you.
All right. You're at the Bethel AME Church in Freehold, right?
Yes.
And how long have you been out there, roughly?
This is going to my 7th year.
Okay.
Been pastoring there for almost 7 years.
That's great. And I know you work with SCAN. We'll get into that a little bit later, but you're just a really good guy doing a lot of good stuff in the community, so I want to get that on the table right off the bat.
Thank you.
So currently Bethel is hosting the Senior Center. So, how did that come about?
Well, they were at the YMCA.
Okay.
The YMCA has summer camp, and so the seniors don't have a place to go during the summer. So talking with Pat Bowes, we had a conversation. I said they can be at Bethel. Nice. After the summer was over, because of the parking, the ease of access, and the facility, they asked if they could stay. And because of the developing partnership with SCAN as well as community members, the members were happy to host it. And that's how they're there now. That's
wonderful. So they're year-round now.
Yes.
Nice. So you do a good deed and help out for a couple of months, and look what's happened, right?
That's right.
But that's what it's all about, right? That's being
it.
A good community person and a good organization. It's very kind of yourself and your members, most importantly, too, right?
Yes.
To really welcome everybody into your home, so to speak, right?
That's right.
That's a beautiful thing. So is that how you first got involved with SCAN?
No, actually it happened based on something that happened with a couple of my members.
Okay.
And we didn't have answers. I felt handicapped, didn't know where to go. Had a couple of conversations and was introduced to Pat Bowes and Andrea Tarr.
Okay.
We had a meeting and I shared with them some information and they said to me, well, we have partners that can help out with that. After that meeting, I said, if you ever need anybody on the board, just let me know.
Oh, nice.
And she said, so it's funny you should ask that. and so that's kind of how we got together. And I think it's a wonderful organization. So really, it was more of because the lack of information that I had and the people that were around me that I had didn't have. So that was an important connection that we made.
That's excellent. And both Pat and Andrea do a great job.
Yes, they do.
Well, I'm just telling you secretly. I don't want anybody to tell. All the viewers, don't tell them, because I don't want them to get big heads. But good people do good work,
yes.
I have to say.
Yes.
I've been involved with SCAN over 20 years myself,
yes.
so it's a great organization. So and I appreciate you coming on board too. So why are you so passionate about working with seniors?
My mother will be 80. My dad's already 80.
Okay.
And I'm in a point in my life where I'm not a caregiver yet, but at any moment that can happen. So out of personal reasons, initially, that was why. But then I have an older congregation, and I see some of the things that they go through, and there are needs that they have, and I was not aware that as many benefits that are available to them. And so one of my reasonings to being involved with SCAN and with the seniors is to really be a conduit for the information.
Which is great.
Just so that whatever is needed, it's not that we have to do it, but whatever is needed, we can direct them to the correct place.
Which is great, because I know that's always been like a SCAN's mission, is to try to get that information out. So, I'll pose the question to you. Do you feel like the senior programs are adequately promoted? Like you see it firsthand, right? Do folks really know what's out there and available to them?
I think SCAN does a good job in advertising and getting it out there, but we got to move beyond the electronic, send emails, send constant contact. It's a personal relationship. We have to get down on the ground, out on the street, let people know that this is available, particularly their peers, so that they can see that it's not going to be hard. You can show up, things of that nature. So I think while it is happening, it could be better, and not just from SCAN's perspective. We can look at other organizations who promote senior benefits that they share, and that's why I think the partnership is important.
Right, and I think you're a perfect example, especially at a church. If every church was around the table to listen, there's a lot of those members and parishioners, whatever it might be, that need to get to know this information, and that's a great conduit to get that information out.
Yes.
So kudos to you for being part of that and making sure that's happening with your own membership.
Thank you.
That's really wonderful. And it is good, caring about your parents too. We like to hear that about that too. That's always nice. So what other programs and services would you like to see at your church?
Well, we're open, and I mean that literally, in that during the day there's not a lot of activity that happens. The senior center's on Tuesday. We have a noon Bible study on Wednesday, but Monday, Thursday, and Friday it's open. We did the diabetes self-care.
Okay.
It was excellent. The members loved it. The technology, we're working on that to get the technology program at Bethel. Anything that can assist people to be better informed, that we can open up our doors to the community to allow them to know that the information is here. We want you to have the benefits that belong to you. Take advantage of them.
That's great. And where's your church located?
3 Waterworks Road in Freehold, New Jersey. It's
Okay.
right across the street from the Monmouth County Prison.
Okay.
Diagonally to Court Street School, which is a historical facility,
Right.
and right down the street from the courthouse.
Great. So it's very convenient in that sense. It is right there, which is good. Been down there a lot myself, that area. And like, if you have these programs at your church, right? I would imagine if somebody that wasn't necessarily a member of your congregation at that moment came in looking for help, you would help them.
Oh, sure.
Right, of course.
Sure.
So that's the other beautiful thing, is that you don't necessarily have to be a member
No.
of your church to come and get some of these services, but by virtue of what you do and being a caring person and a caring membership, you want to help all people.
That's correct.
Anybody that needs help, you're there for them.
That's correct.
Kind of thing, which again, another really good thing, and a nice way for people to feel comfortable getting information, because that's another issue, right? Sometimes people don't feel comfortable going to certain places for information, but feel very comfortable coming to a local church to get information, or some help.
Yes.
They know that you're sincere and that you're trustworthy and that you really are there to help folks. So. And who knows, maybe somebody who's not a member becomes a member because they really get to, appreciate all the good work that you're doing. That's a nice thing. So do seniors in your church participate in this senior center?
Some do. We're working on
Okay.
it to be better.
Okay.
I think, and that's part of the relationship. We hosted a community day and we invited several partners. SCAN was one of them. I introduced the person that's in charge of our seniors ministry to Pat and Andrea.
Good.
And so that she could get a better understanding of what SCAN is about, and she can go back and take it to the other members. And I would love for them to be more involved, and even if they're relatives and family members, to bring them along as well, because they are familiar with the church and they're comfortable coming to the church, to bring someone else. Because when you come with someone else, they're a little more comfortable.
Right.
So yes, we would love for them to continue, as well as get more involvement from our membership.
Right. So obviously some of your members can actually come to SCAN, which is right in Monmouth Mall. So it's easy and convenient to get to in that sense, if they have, the transportation available. But SCAN also does some programming where they can actually go out to a location like yours and all that too, right? And as that relationship builds and grows, more of those sorts of things can happen. So the important thing is that we know that seniors need to stay connected.
That's correct.
They still, there's still an opportunity to learn. You can always learn it no matter what age. And, when you get to a certain age, you learn what you want to learn, as opposed to when you're kids, you have to go to school, you learn everything, whether you like math or science or whatever. But when you get older, you get to pick and choose what you want to learn. But the important thing is to keep learning.
That's correct.
I think that keeps people, and it's social too. Like, a lot of folks at SCAN know each other, and you're amongst your peers learning, and it's just a great environment. So, so it's very smart of you, I think, and caring to get your congregation involved and keep them educated and learning and all those sorts of things. So that's good. They've got a good leader.
Thank you.
Now, why is it important for the Bethel-based community, for the faith-based community to partner with other community organizations?
Because we are a part of the community.
Right.
We can't change because we're the church. The fact that we're a part of the community, we should be involved in the community. The fact of the matter is we need each other to survive. We need to help one another where help is needed, and so therefore, regardless of whether I'm faith-based or whether it's a different kind of organization, we still need to communicate, because people's needs are people's needs.
Right.
And the goal is to meet people's needs, in this case seniors' needs, So really it's to the caregivers as well. That we want to make sure that the caregivers know that they have a place to go, and they can get that from various aspects. So whether it's from the church or whether it's from a different organization in the community, we need to be dialoguing with each other so that they can get that kind of information.
Yeah, which is great, and it's important because there's all these wonderful organizations doing that great work that they do, and if you don't know about them, it doesn't matter to you. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure they've got their groups that they're helping on a regular basis, but who doesn't? You know, who doesn't want to help more, and who doesn't want to be more impactful than, you know what I mean? So I think that's, again, a good thing that you're trying to reach out and make sure that these other organizations are tying in with yours so that folks can get some assistance and help and, you know, knowledge that they wouldn't get otherwise. Because if folks like you, the leaders in the community, aren't making that happen for folks, then sometimes it doesn't happen. So it's great that you're on the cutting edge of things and really staying ahead of the curve and making sure that your membership is, you know, getting all the benefits of whatever organizations are out there to help them. That's critical. I wish everybody did that. And then who are you hoping to reach through this particular broadcast program?
Seniors, and again, I mentioned the caregivers. It's difficult being a caregiver. I see it a lot in our congregation. I've watched relatives care for a spouse or a child, and it's very difficult, and sometimes they think they're by themselves, they're all alone. So someone watching this broadcast, to let them know that there is help for them. We've had partnerships, and we're developing partnership with those who give respite for caregivers, allow them to have some rest, a day off, to be able to do different things, to get their mind off of taking care of the parent or whoever they're caring for. And so I want them to have hope, to know that there's help out there for them. And for the senior to know that they don't have to stay at home. They can join with other seniors and they can get involved. They will learn new things, and they'll meet new people. And because they're still an important part of society, they still have a value to give to us. They have a lot of wisdom to share with us.
Absolutely.
So I want them to know that don't stay home. The caregivers to know that they're not by themselves, that there are people out there that's willing to give them help. We just want to make the connections so that they can get the help that they need, and so that they can continue to have a good life, because sometimes they go into depression and all of those things because they feel they're by themselves and they're not getting the adequate help or care for themselves.
Right, and that only makes matters worse, right?
That's
if
right.
the caregiver goes down, then they're really in trouble, right?
That's right.
And I do think that's important that you mentioned caregivers, because they have a lot on their shoulders often, right? And it is tough. You know, you're trying to care for your loved one as best you can, but you're trying to have your own life if you can manage that, and it can be overwhelming.
Yes.
And you know, if there's help out there that can give you a break, give you a respite, or again, if you can maybe take your loved one out and do something that's fun for both of you, just get you out into society, it's great. And again, there's lots of different programs that are available for folks, both as caregivers and the person that might need some help. So why not take advantage of them?
That's correct.
And you know, knowing about them is the first step to being able to take advantage of them. So
That's it.
So that's great. And I do think SCAN does a wonderful job with all their programs and really makes an effort to get out there, but it's folks like you that are bringing it to the public, which we appreciate it. So with that, I want to thank you for being with us. Again, wonderful programs. It's the Bethel AME Church in Freehold, and Reverend Sparks, you've been a delight to interview with. And I'm sure our viewers have learned a lot, and hopefully you'll just continue to grow your church and your membership and continue to do great things in the Freehold area.
Great, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And thank you to our viewers. We're going to be right back after this break for the second part of our show today. Thank you.
At the Save Green Project from New Jersey Natural Gas, we're bringing you rebates and incentives, including 0% APR financing, right on your natural gas bill to help make energy efficiency affordable. And with the possibility of no upfront costs and special incentives for moderate income customers, investing in equipment upgrades doesn't have to be out of reach. Go to SaveGreenProject.com for details on available rebates and incentives to help you upgrade to energy-efficient HVAC and water heating equipment. You could also be eligible for thousands of dollars in incentives for seal-up and insulation fixes. In the long run, you could be saving money on your energy bills too. Visit us at SaveGreenProject.com. That's SaveGreenProject.com.
Okay, and welcome back to Community Connection here at SCAN. Again, I'm your host, Tom Hayes, and for the second half of the show, we have another wonderful guest, and that is Mary Ann Lessardo, and she's a Life Skills Coordinator for Lunch Break. So welcome.
Thank you.
It's great to have you with us today.
Wonderful to be here.
And we know Lunch Break is such a wonderful organization, and you know, the team there, Gwen and Millie, many others, just do an amazing job.
Amazing. Great word, amazing.
And
yes.
it's great, I'm sure, to have you on their team now.
I hope so.
I'm sure. So how did the idea of the Life Skills Center come about?
Well, from what I understand, it was a vision of Gwen's, our Director of Programming and Services, Sharda, and the board. There was discussion a number of years ago that talked about how wonderful Lunch Break is and all the things that they do. Mm-hmm. But someone said, how do we make people self-sufficient? So in essence, they don't need us at Lunch Break. And so this idea percolated in their heads, and they put together a task force and a steering committee, and they developed this idea that we should offer people those skills to improve the quality of their life. And that's how the light bulb happened.
That's great. That's great. And what do you do at the Life Center, so our viewers kind of have a better understanding of what the Life Skills Center does?
You know,
or should I say what it doesn't do? Does that be easier?
It would be easier. I make my list of to-dos every morning as I go to work, and if I get 2 of them done, it's a miracle because it just changes by the second. It is a dynamic environment. Today we help someone in an abusive relationship, and someone else who is behind on their rent, and someone else who needs help with a resume, and so it is just been an amazing journey, because I think it's one thing and it turns out to be something totally different and encompassing. So one of the things that I love about this program that makes it different from so many other wonderful programs out there is that you can come to us, and whatever it is you need, we will take care of it. It is not necessarily about the resume, and I want that on my business card that says it's not about the resume.
Right.
Because there are so many of our clients that don't need a resume. They come to us because they were incarcerated, or they have a disability, or sometimes incarcerated with a disability, and are homeless. Okay, they'll never need a resume. They need someone to help them figure out how to make their life better.
Right.
Okay, so it's not always about the job. It is a lot of times, but not always about the job. So, and the other thing that I find wonderful about our process is that it's not a 9-week curriculum, and then we give you a certificate and say, bye-bye, you know, you've graduated from the Life Skills program. We have people now for 18 months in the program. For as long as you need us to help, we are there for you. And we use the word participants because you have to participate in your own success story.
Right.
So our participants, we have someone who truly is illiterate, and we need to get them some help through Literacy of America and help them, learn to read and write. She's 20 some odd years old, 2 children. I also have someone who has her master's degree from the Ukraine. She is a citizen of the United States, and while she has her master's, the best job she can find right now is at AC Moore being a cashier.
Wow.
Okay, she is does data analytics. Okay, and so she is having difficulty finding a job with her master's. So someone says, "Well, tell me about your average participant." I don't think I have an average participant because there are so many people doing with so many different parts of their lives all coming together at the Life Skills Center.
Right. Wow, that's impressive. It's pretty amazing that you have that wide spectrum of folks, right? Because most people would assume it's
homeless,
closer to that.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No. We have so many people who, so many different parts of their lives. Okay, or something detrimental happened, and another young lady who was in an abusive relationship left, with the help of 180, Turning Lives Around,
Yes,
okay?
great group.
Great group. We just called them again this morning for another person. And you know, because of that hiccup in her life, she had nothing.
Right.
Nothing for herself or her children. And so we worked with a lot of people to help her. And she needed a job that mirrored her children's schedule, right?
Yeah.
So I reached out to Heidi at Monmouth Daycare Center, right? And we got her a job as a substitute teacher. She too has her degree, okay? So it's all about listening and taking care of each person individually.
Yeah.
It is not a classroom setting.
Right, that's great. Now, you've just mentioned a few organizations already.
Oh, so many.
So I'm assuming you work with a lot of
So
other
many,
organizations, right?
yes.
Okay.
Actually, we've developed well, I just finished saying it's not a curriculum. We just developed a 9-week curriculum with Family Promise,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
another organization
Great
that
group.
helps the homeless. So one night a week, one of my coaches will go over to one of the churches they're staying at, okay, and we provide a training for an hour on various subjects.
That's great.
I think last week was, what job do you really want to go for based on what you like and don't like? The week before was financial literacy, how to build a budget, how to live up to a budget. So there are so many of the nonprofits that we all work together. I think that is probably one of the things that I've discovered that's very different than corporate America.
Right.
Okay? So we are all in this together to help people. And you know, generally, you wouldn't pick up a phone and call your competitor and get help, right?
Right, right.
In that world. So I
Gotcha.
find it to be amazing.
Yeah, no, that's great. Now, it's funny because I think I know all the organizations you're talking about so far, and they're all wonderful. And
are.
you know, Family Promise, for example, you know, with what they do in terms of keeping folks together during the day, and then they go to a different church at night, and so many moving parts to that program, but
So
they do it,
many
you know,
moving
and
parts.
their new facility at
I was
Fort Monmouth is beautiful,
well, it's
right?
funny
And
because when I first joined Lunch Break, I had reached out to them to see if we could do a partnership, but they were up in Union Beach. It was so far away. It wasn't geographically convenient for us to do that.
Right.
So when they moved to Oceanport, it was like, this is perfect.
Perfect, yeah,
Perfect,
that's great.
yes,
That's
yes.
great. But they're all great organizations. So, and it's nice that I love to see folks collaborate. You know,
I do
anytime
too.
when one group works with another to help people, that to me is the way to go. You know, you just do more with less, and it's just efficient and helpful.
Well, you know, one thing I learned in my life in business is let's not, you know, reinvent the wheel. If someone has the wheel, go borrow it.
Yeah, right,
You
exactly,
know?
yeah, absolutely.
Why do it over again,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And when you think about, and in reality, most of the people that we help have poverty issues, right? So if you think about becoming employed, the things that prevent you from being successful, transportation and daycare, right? So
Yes.
that relationship with Monmouth Daycare Center and other daycare centers in the area just makes sense.
Right.
And now I'm trying to meet with people to figure out the transportation issue. How do we help people get their cars fixed? Okay, which was a brilliant idea by our advisory board at Lunch Break. Why don't we come up with some kind of funding to help people who have cars, but
Get 'em repaired.
they broke down and now their job is in jeopardy.
Yeah, right,
You
right.
and I would never think of that,
Right,
right?
right.
But that flat tire or those bad brakes can get someone fired.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And
So-
then you got another person
So
that's
now we
struggling.
actually have gotten like 4 or 5 cars repaired.
Good.
And now people can go to work in a safe car.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
right?
Right, absolutely.
I love it.
And it keeps them in their home, keeps them
Yes,
everything else together.
yes.
Because we know a lot of us, you know, over any point in our lives have been on that like very thin like budget and just making it. And again, a hiccup like that, a car
Yep.
repair, a doctor's
Appointment.
bill or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yep.
You know, everyone is one paycheck away from poverty.
Yep.
It can be very, very scary.
And of course, just so you know, I work for New Jersey Natural Gas, and of course we have energy assistance programs. So if you run into those kinds of issues,
And
you can
if
help
you
with
think
that.
I won't call
Yeah,
you.
no, you better, because that's what we're doing it for. 'Cause
And
that's
so
the
I
same thing.
shall.
So, yep,
Yes.
absolutely, good.
I love having new contacts. And that's another amazing thing in this whole nonprofit world, which is very different for me. you make you meet a lot of people.
Yes.
And if you find that right person, they can really make something happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So true. Absolutely.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
a great, the nonprofit community, I work with them all the time, and it's just, they're an amazing group of folks, and hardworking, doing all kinds of stuff, but sometimes they're all busy doing their own thing, that sometimes they can't see what you could see in your position, where you can bring some of them together to collaborate and get more things to happen.
Yes,
which is
and
good.
I think one of the most amazing things that happened with the whole concept of a life skills program is the work that Gwen and the board and Charter did to give us our new building that we're at.
Yes,
So we're,
it's a beautiful facility.
We're right across from the Grove, okay, which I try to not look at during lunchtime, okay? But the building is breathtaking. We have a computer lab. We have a conference room. We have 3 or 4 coaching rooms. We do our ESL classes there on Monday night. We have 18 people who come to our ESL class week after week after week.
That's excellent, right?
It is outstanding. We are actually, we've only been doing this since March. We moved into our new building and really started. I think I had 3 participants at that point. At month end September, I had 58.
Wow, that's
And I've
great.
just added 4 more today.
Nice.
And I'm sorry that so many people need help. I'm so happy that we're here to help
Yeah,
them.
that's true. Which is nice, right? Everybody wants to put themselves out of business at some point when everybody
And I say that to
nobody needs
Gwen
any
all
help.
the
Yeah,
time.
right?
If I'm really successful, there won't be a need for lunch break. That's my ultimate measure of success.
Yes, absolutely true. So tell me the qualifications that are needed to become a coach.
Probably the most important part is time, okay? And when I talk to prospective volunteers, I like to tell people there are generally 3 types of volunteers that I need. I need a coach. A coach has to give their time, and especially those first couple of weeks when you're getting to build the relationship, build that rapport,
Right.
trying to figure out that action plan of what we're going to do to help kind of thing. So it's a time commitment. I have to tell you that the majority of my coaches are similar to me in that they are retired professionals
Great.
who want to give back,
Nice.
okay?
Can't beat
and,
it.
and I have some that boggle my mind. They are just so smart, okay? I'm like, wow, okay? And they are just fabulous, okay? So
Now, if somebody wanted, because we're running out of time, so if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, is there a website that?
absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so if you go to the Lunch Break website, up on top of the banner, there is a Life Skills Program tab. If you click on that tab, there are 2 tabs you can click on after that. Do you need help? Click here. Do you want to help? Click there.
Very good. Well, Mary Ann Lessard, it's great having you with us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for this
luck with everything
opportunity.
at Lunch Break.
Thank you.
And thank you to our viewers, and we look forward to seeing you on the next version of Community Connections. Take care.